Today we're going to be talking about the very thin line between camping and glamping. Oh, it's kind of a funny subject, isn't it? The whole concept of glamping and the phrase that's become. How's it going, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad and this is the Hopeful Homestead. And in this series of videos, I like to sit out here in my little tiny cabin camper out at my family's little campsite that I built out on my family's property here in South Florida that we're calling the Hopeful Homestead. In the past few videos, I've been talking a lot about camping and a lot about how that can be incorporated into a homesteading lifestyle. And just as a father and a husband, and as a man of faith, as a believer in Jesus, and as a follower of Jesus, camping actually has a pretty interesting place in all of that. And being away from the hustle and bustle and the craziness of the world allows you to be able to truly get an appreciation for things and really center yourself and refocus your mind. And there's a lot of benefits to camping, to being out and in the middle of nowhere and away from all the distractions of the world. And that's one of the things that I think is important that true camping needs to have. It needs to be an escape. And part of that means you're going to have some of the hardships of camping that, make things not as comfortable. And that's where that thin line between comfort and roughing it, camping and glamping, that's where that thin line sort of rests between. And to me, it really comes down to three factors between true camping and glamping. I don't think there's anything wrong with glamping. Don't get me wrong. If you want to have a little vacation where you go glamping, you stay in some fancy tent or some big cabin somewhere that's not really truly camping, that's totally a fine thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But to me, the three things that truly separate the two are this. One is space. If you're camping in something that is big enough to host your whole family inside of that comfortably, to where you don't have to come out of that thing to find comfort or to find something to do, then you're not camping. You're just on a vacation somewhere. And if you're in a big cabin or a big giant RV or some giant fancy tent that's got air conditioning and a bathroom in it, that's not camping. You're enjoying some of the theming of camping, but you're not actually camping. Part of the reason of having a smaller space like this tiny cabin is it's providing a comfortable place to sleep and to escape some of the elements for my family when we come out here to our property to camp or to day camp and just enjoy a night by the fire. But it's not so big that we can all just sit in it and relax in it and get caught up in the distractions of our phones and whatnot, because we're forced to be outside of the campsite, to be out on our property, to walk around and enjoy. When I took my daughter down to the Florida Keys in this thing, this isn't big enough to stay comfortable in for too long. So it forces you to get out, back out into the outdoors and back out into nature, which is more of what camping's all about, right? For me, one of the main factors is the thing you're staying in, the thing that you're calling home while camping, can't be some big, sizable entity that allows you to just basically live exactly like you would at home, but in this place that you're camping in. So that's the difference, number one. Number two is the bathroom situation. If you've got a full-fledged bathroom with plumbing, that's not camping. You're staying in a different type of a hotel, essentially, at that point. For me, I have a Lowe's bucket with a toilet seat attached to it. And wag bags that get put in there. And that's our camping toilet. That's what we use when we're out here. So, that makes it, part of the roughing it experience that makes it a little bit laborsome to do. It makes you appreciate the finer things, the modern amenities of life. It makes you appreciate those things by having to rough it a little bit. And to me, that's a personal preference of where the line falls with me, is you feel like you're really out on your own and off-gridding it when you don't have a toilet with plumbing. If you don't have a toilet with plumbing, then yes, it feels more like you're actually camping. That's for sure. And the third thing is something else that I find a little bit unique. To me, if you're actually camping, it needs to be a situation where you're far enough from the distractions of life, far enough from a quick meal, far enough from a restaurant to be able to force you to think, okay, I need to bring food, I need to pack in to be able to do this camping experience. And so for us on our property, we're still 20 minutes from the nearest grocery store or gas station, realistically. So yeah, it makes it to where, if you got to spend 40 minutes going there and back just to pick something up if you want. So for us, if we're coming out here to camp, we're bringing the supplies. You need to make sure you're outfitted to be able to have your water, your food, your snacks, everything you're going to be doing, what you're going to cook, the stuff you need to be able to cook with. All of that, you have to be thinking ahead, because you're not going to be able to just pick up and go get what you need. And to me, camping, part of the importance of it not being glamping is having to make sure you're being totally self-sufficient, resourceful, and living off of what you have with you on your person and with your family when you're out at your campsite, whether it's a public campground or some off-grid remote place, or if you've got a big piece of property that you can get lost on with your family and go camping on. That's awesome. It allows you to truly feel like you got to really be prepared and focused on the task at hand of camping. You're not distracted by being able to escape it very easily. You can't go out and grab a quick bite at a drive-through somewhere. You got to make your food. You got to live in the moment while you're camping. And to me, that's the third metric. So that's you can't be having something you're staying in that's too big and comfortable to allow you to basically simulate home life. It can't be something where you have active plumbing and a toilet that works, because that's not camping. You're just living in a house or a hotel at that point. And it can't be too close to anything that allows you to be able to escape it too easily, to where you have to really be in it. And that's how you actually stay focused and end up enjoying it as a result. Because after all, camping is a pretty intentional thing, right? You're intentionally choosing to escape from and remove the comforts of regular modern life in favor of the benefits that camping do bring to you. Those three things are what, to me, separate the difference between camping and glamping. I'm sure others will find other reasons. Let me know in the comments what you delineate between camping and glamping. I feel like that'd be an interesting discussion. But for me, it's those three things that really separate true camping from the rest. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching all the way through if you did. Again, my name is Chad. This is the Hopeful Homestead. And I hope you stick around as my family and I start to build our home here and move into this property and start the whole homesteading life here in the next few months. It's going to be an exciting journey, so stick around for that. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Later.